So here we are on Sado Island. This festival is one of the biggest taiko festivals in all of Japan, and I've come here to find out what makes this and the Kodo group the soul of Japan.
Only in Japan.
Taiko drumming's origin in Japan is believed to have started 1,500 years ago, although it's only recently become a performance art. Kodo is one of the most recognized taiko groups in Japan, helping taiko elevate to an art form. Touring the world like Cirque du Soleil, there's a lot inside those drum beats connected to a small island on the Sea of Japan that resembles a butterfly. Do you see it? That's Sadogashima, or Sado Island, and it's beautiful. These traditional Japanese fishing boats are called taraibune, and you can see them down at Ogi Creek. I returned to Sado Island in winter to see how Kodo lived and trained.
I'm back. It's January here on Sadogashima. It's really cold and chilly. But I wanted to come back because after the Earth celebration, you can't really see what daily life is like because they kind of take a break after all of that training during the year. What you see on the stage is actually a direct representation of the way they live their lives.
At dawn, the training center where they live, when not touring, starts to wake up. The group has a disciplined regiment, especially for apprentices who train for 2 years before being accepted or denied membership. Breakfast. There's no staff to cook for them, or clean for that matter. Each member has responsibilities beyond music, which makes them more complete musicians. This is more than just a drum school. It's a way of life. When at home or on tour, they're family. Full-time performers who train hard. Kodo has 34 performing members, 31 staff, and about 100 total with apprentices and assistants from all over Japan and the world. The schedule, their daily routine, will take them to Sunset practicing for an upcoming European tour. Before that, the building must be spotless. There are many warm-ups, techniques used for years to help performers stay sharp and healthy. Kodo goes beyond taiko drums. They're all musicians and learn other instruments such as the flute or shamisen. and performers perfecting an action of motion that uses muscles normal people rarely use. Many lives have changed through the taiko apprenticeship, very much like the military. Waking up at dawn for a 10K run, doing tasks not related at all to drumming, like Daniel LaRusso in The Karate Kid, painting the fence or waxing cars on and off. Sado Island and the group are very much inseparable. The natural ways learned here translating into the beats you hear on the stage. There are many drums in the training center, some made here on Sado Island, each one having a sound used in the composition of original music. Breathing and vocal warm-ups. These drills also help the team get in unison, working and playing as one. One heartbeat. That's the meaning of Kodo. The history of the group going back over 40 years.
私は名前が小島千恵子と言います。鼓動の名誉団員というところで、主にソロ活動が多いんですけれども、踊りと太鼓をやってます。
Chieko was part of the newly formed Kodo group in 1981, dreamers with the talent to create and inspire with music and dance.
昔は私たちが誰も太鼓のこと知らないし、太鼓をプロフェッショナルとして生活できるのかとか、もともと日本の太鼓は神社にあったり盆踊りの真ん中にあったりとしてアートじゃなかったんですね。それは民族フォークミュージックなので、それがプロフェッショナルなインストゥルメントとしてじゃなかったんですね。で私たちは今のこと分からなかったから、昔は私たちどうなるんだろう、こうやって一生懸命汗流して走ってやってるけど、この先どうなるんだろう、私の人生どうなるみたいな見えなかったんです。でもただ一生懸命何かしらに向かって頑張っていって、今は彼らは目標がある、見えるんですね。鼓動に入る、ここに入ってあそこのポジションやって、それで有名になる、みんなから拍手もらうとか、ここの鼓動のこの場所を利用する場所で、ここで自分の表現をできる、そういう明確な目標があって、それで太鼓を打ってる。昔だったらば盆踊りの真ん中で太鼓叩くとご先祖様がやってきて、一緒に今の人たちと一緒に盆踊りを踊ったり、神社ではその太鼓で神様が来て、神様たちが人間たちにそのハーベストことほいだりとか、魔を払ったりとか、そういう役目のための音だったんですけど、今は鼓動にある太鼓は同じ楽器ですが、まあアートになってますけども、やはり太鼓が持っているパワーっていうのは変わらずあって、だから世界中の人たちがこの和太鼓を叩きたくなって、叩くことで元気になって、その聞くことによってすごくその方たちもすっごい元気になるわけですよ。リフレッシュするの。それは昔々からある日本の太鼓が やってきたことと同じこと。それがグローバルな世界中のところに広まったっていう、地球に広まっただけで、きっと日本の太鼓が持っているパワーっていうのが同じ。
To be a professional performer, you have to be the best, and as the years went by, Kodo's reputation increased and they started giving performances around the world, often away from Japan. They started in the 1970s as Saro no Kuni Ote Koza. Then a new group, Kodo, formed in 1981, taking their performance art around the world. The Earth celebration started in 1988. International collaborations has been another way Kodo has both widened its brand and also enhanced its playing style, like inviting the drummers from Burundi to Saro for Earth Celebration in 1988. And recently with South Korea's traditional music master, Kim Duk-soo. They've created musical pieces for commercials and movies like this one for a 1995 flick called The Hunted. For every member, becoming a drummer and performer has changed their life in some way, making them leaders, giving them confidence, finding something inside themselves they didn't know existed. Taiko challenges both the body and the mind.
Taiko itself is very special in that I loved it at the beginning because it was a combination between sport and music, which is both my passions. But once I started performing Taiko, I felt this energy from the audience that gave back to me and the performing members. And I thought, wow, this is a feeling that you don't get normally doing a normal job. So Taiko actually, I was a very shy child. I didn't speak a word. And once I started Taiko and performing, that was my way of expressing. And that changed me as a human being to be able to speak to people more freely and be myself when I'm playing Taiko. So Kodo has a motto, One Earth. And obviously their technique and their lifestyle is so unique. And the motto for Kodo is whatever your lifestyle becomes the performance. So that struck me in so many chords, meaning I need to make myself who I am in everyday life, and that will be projected in who I am when I'm around everyone. So that kind of lifestyle and the way they train, the way they live is so simple but so important.
As I said before, this is more than a school, more than a job. It's a way of life that can lead you to greater things.
I was an economics major, and I was going to become an investment banker. So I did a lot of internships, and then I just thought to myself, like, if I don't want to wake up when I'm 40 and wonder what it could have been, you know. So I just wanted to kind of challenge myself, do something that I can do only once in a lifetime. I happened to find Kodo because they had this apprenticeship program, which is crazy. You know, you wake up at 5 in the morning and you run 10K, you make your own rice, you kind of really are put into a position where you have to look deep inside your soul and kind of ask like the important questions. You know, you would think it would just be, you know, like practicing basics and just hitting the drum all day, which we do. Yeah. But it's more than that, you know, because all this tradition, all this Japanese culture, folk arts, they're rooted into this, the culture of like agriculture. You know, all these movements come from these traditional movements of, you know, planting rice. You know, these dances, these songs come from harvest, they come from fishing, all of this, you know, and it's very important to learn these traditions, these background, this history in order to do what we do. Because the drum is really simple, right? Anyone can hit it, but to perfect that, to get that perfect sound, there's much more than just the physical element. That's what I believe in.
The 2-year Kodo apprenticeship is grueling. Most don't make it, but it changes everyone who tries for the better.
そうですね。できないことばっかりの毎日からのスタートなので、本当に走ったり、料理を作ったり、あと自分がリーダーシップを取るとか、全て新しいことにチャレンジするような形で始まるので。厳しくて苦しかったですね。でも 自分と向き合えることというか時間になるので、すごくやりがいがあって苦しくて楽しい時間でしたね。
This is part of the Earth celebration, which takes place every August. It's a chance to collaborate, hear new sounds, like at this fringe performance where tap dancing is part of the beat. The Earth celebration mainly takes place in Ogi, and there are loads of vendors selling clothes, souvenirs, and street food. Loads of street food. As the sun sets, the crowd gets excited for the main event. Earth Celebration is on. I'll share with you some of the highlights from the event.
All right, you're getting ready to start. Here we go.
You'll see when coupled with performance art, it reaches a new level, crossing cultures and bringing so many people in. A more traditional approach to taiko drumming is wearing a fundoshi loincloth. This unique style of sitting while playing the taiko drum originated in Saitama Prefecture at the Chichibu Yomatsuri. The two-story yatai floats had a drummer inside a very cramped space. Sitting was the only practical way to play. The style truly is an art, the strength to perform it in full view on stage. Above all, the Earth celebration is fun. A homecoming when all traveling members of Kodo return to perform together. A homecoming party of sorts. A collection of all their skills coming together on display. When you know what's inside each of those beats, it has a new meaning. Kodo connects the natural world with Japanese traditions, and as music truly does bring people together, the traveling troupe are one of Japan's best ambassadors.
Despite them being extremely tired
And we wish
and
you
working
all
really hard,
a
they all
safe
had
journey
this.
home.
And I think that makes it
Earth
really
Celebration
special when you see
2020
that and you
will
feel
take
it, because
place from
drumming,
August
the reason I like
21st
taiko is because
to
you can
23rd.
not just hear it,
We
but you
hope
can
to see
feel
you
it.
all.
Kodo is such a unique brand, I think. It's such a unique brand. When I think of it, I think of discipline, I think of all the things that are very spiritual about this country, and you can hear it through the music.
I'll be back on Sado Island and Earth Celebration to live inside those beats again and find happiness in letting go, submitting myself to the sounds of Japan that have echoed throughout the country for thousands of years. If you liked it, click that subscribe button and definitely check out another one of the Only in Japan series videos. Mata ne.